Should a person who's been born rich be president ever? Ever? Well, there was a lady that was being interviewed by the media who's from Miss Missouri that said she had voted for Trump, 2016, loyal supporter, the whole nine yards. But she's finally had enough. She said, man, he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and, he doesn't care about people like us. And, she's got a point, basically, because, you know, he was born with $400 million, dad worth all that money and inherited it. He never had to change the oil, buy gas, buy food, none of it. Unlike you and me and a lot of normal Americans, we've had times in our lives, maybe we're having that today, where you got to choose, do I pay the rent or buy food? And, you can't cover all the bases because costs have gone up. And what is he focused on? Costs, like his tariffs that added price of everything, and a war that didn't need to happen because they had no nuke. So we're all paying a dollar plus a gallon more now. No, he's worried about the reflecting pool and hired a no bid guy that did a crappy job. Now we got to arrest people and pretend it wasn't your fault for, driving a motor 15 car motorcade on the darn thing. Oh, some vandals would, and you're arresting people for touching the water. What kind of Nazi crap's that, right? And so, is Trump really connected to people? The only born rich presidents that were really any good with JFK and FDR because they really helped the little guy. Like Jesus said, the least among us. Uh, FDR, we got Social Security, we got Medicare on JFK, under Johnson rather, and so basically, even Congress members who born rich. Now, if you make the money, that's okay. But get this, Musk the other day, just now, said McKinsey, the former wife of Jeff Bezos, richer than God, has given away billions to worthy causes. Musk said that was just terrible, horrible, and oh my God, look, and this guy's like been a trillionaire and he thinks it's bad to help people. What kind of moral rot is that, right? And so here we have a party that in Texas, we have the Democratic nominee for Senate, James Tellerico, who's good guy. He's been in legislature's got some programs to help the little guy and all that. What the Republicans do, oh God, he's trans or he's this or he's that. He's probably, a serial killer of some kind, right? But the Republican nominee just is getting divorced by the wife because she found out he was a cheater. And the guy was indicted for fraud, like since the last 10 years, still got elected. Does that tell you something weird? And was even impeached so bad he was even impeached by his own party and has made millions of dollars while being in office. What does that tell you? Who gets rich in office, right? Oh, well, Trump is because he's got crypto and fake phones and all this kind of hooey do, right? So the only party that's been helping the little guy is the Democratic Party. Look at what happened last time. Trump lost 3 million jobs and was telling people to ingest bleach for COVID. Biden had to fix that mess and created 15 million jobs. How did Biden do that? Well, wave the magic wand. He invested for the first time, a president in decades, our infrastructure that, if you hadn't noticed, the highways are kind of falling apart. I mean, I went across country several times, even the interstate, I-10, I-40, and the bridges are rusting, about to fall out from under us. Who invested in fixing that and creating all those tens of thousands and millions of jobs working on stuff? Joe Biden, the guy oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. Well, Trump, you got to think he's got a clue. He's wrecking the economy a second time, giving another 5 trillion to the rich in a tax cut that won't fix anything. And instead of saying, hey, let's focus on making life more affordable for Americans, let's get rid of those tariffs, turn down a bipartisan housing bill. Bipartisan. They both, Democrats and Republicans actually came together on something. Kamala Harris talked about having a way of getting people 50 grand to buy into a house, with some help. And Trump, I don't want to do that. I'd rather try to cheat on the election than simply sign a bill that they had passed both in the House and Senate to help us. Oh, can't be bothered, man. The king, he's got to post another picture of himself as Jesus or, God and holding up the world and pretty out. Can you imagine Obama, Biden posting this kind of weirdo stuff? With the Fox would be screaming, and rightfully so, and the Republicans, rightfully so. So here they are. They're running the guy with the moral rot and somehow feeling vastly superior by trying to call the Democratic guy, whatever they come up with, alien Martian, whatever, next, he's a Viking. You can't vote for him. He's an Ike. America. Only the Democratic Party wants to do universal health care, which all of Europe has, even Mexico now, and free college, because the Europeans found out for every dollar they spend on free college over the person's lifetime, they get seven back in higher more taxes because they make better job, higher pay, and better everything, and no lifelong debt like we have. And now we're getting sick and no health insurance. Does Trump care? No, of course not. He's too big. I got to have an arch and brand new airplane and me and me and me. The typical narcissist. Crapola. And he's got to have a rant about God, you name it, every day. It's rant, 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 rant. 3 a.m. in the morning. That's Looney Tunes stuff, right? So we, and sorry, but the Republicans keep claiming they're Christians. It's more of a fake Christian. It's like we're going to force our religion on everybody, which is a violation of First Amendment, by the way. We're supposed to be free to have whatever religion, no state religion, because that's what Europe found. Our founders saw that Europe had 30-year wars over Catholic, Protestant, this have the Crusades, Muslims, crazy stuff, right? We're secular. And the Republicans are throwing that in our face. They're, basically now supporting the fraud candidate Ken Paxton for senator up there doing crazy stuff with Trump, who doesn't care about legality, never has, doesn't care about the Constitution. He just wants power. So that's our situation. Don't elect anybody who's born rich. Yeah, if they made money, that's okay, as long as they haven't forgotten about what it's like not to have money. And let's get the Democrats in there to actually start pushing for these things that people do need: jobs, better, less inflation, health care. Just do like Europe. If we're going to be quote better than Europe, we don't even match them. Universal health care, free college, doom, up our skills. We got half our country can only read at a sixth grade level. And you think we're going to lead the world by being the least educated? I got news for you. The China's already passed us by. Trump has dumped us from being the lead or key co-leader in clean energy and science and technology. And yeah, nah, we don't need all that. So we're going to be the nobodies, and the rest of the world passing us by. And I've been in 50 countries in my career. I've had a chance to look and know what's going on, right? So if you don't believe me, get on an airplane and go see for yourself, even if it's just to Mexico, that, they've got the leg up on us because the Republicans keep giving all the wealth since Reagan to the top 1% and robbing the rest of us to pay for it and adding the debt for your kids and posterity of kids. No, uh, Democrats, if you ask AI or do some Googling, create most of the jobs and the Republicans create most of the debts. Ponder that this November and and don't vote for somebody's fraud. And oh, by the way, the sexual conviction on Trump was rejected. I mean, was approved by the U.S. Supreme Court. He's run out of excuses. Pay the lady, the guy that took laughing access Hollywood video about grabbing women by the privates without consent, and you still voted for that guy? I got to question your moral values. Jesus would not be pleased. So, even my Viking friends had more morals than that. All right, Michael Fed, until next time. Crazy world.